This is the new Porsche 911 GT3, yes, another one. It's billed as Porsche's Purist driver's car, so let's get out and drive it. On the track, against a stopwatch, and on the road. Do you reckon it'll be any good?
So we know what to expect of the GT3, right? Incremental changes, a smidge more aero, a bit more power, gently tweaked spring rates, more of the same, just a few percentage points better, yeah? The thing is, incremental doesn't quite cover it. Out of the blue, the new GT3 is a big step on. And the killer ingredient is this new engine. It is the angriest road car engine you could ever imagine. In fact, I'm just going to shut up. Just listen to this thing.
Of course, the new GT3 is an evolutionary machine, but the steps keep on getting bigger. The fiery 3.8 litre engine is gone, replaced by a heavily revised 4 litre version of the direct injection flat 6. They've junked the hydraulic valve train for a motorsport style rigid setup. There's a new crank, bigger and stiffer bearings, different pistons, rings, and more slippery material for the bore liners. Everything is designed to reduce resistance and eke out power. This car now matches the maximum outputs of the GT3 RS and is said to offer much greater low and mid-range response. On the chassis side, there are substantial changes too. The next generation of Michelin Cup 2 tyres, helper springs at the rear, new and retuned dampers, revised programming for the electric power steering system and the rear wheel steering setup. The list just goes on. Aero stability and efficiency takes a big step forward too, mostly thanks to a new underbody that accelerates the air to a rear diffuser taken from the 911R. The rear wing is 20mm higher and mounted further back, and also features 2 big air scoops that directly feed the throttle bodies. They increase power by around 20 horsepower at the GT3's top speed. Maybe the biggest news of all is that the GT3 is now available with a 6-speed manual gearbox once again. Rather incredibly though, the first press and production cars are all PDK, so the very thing that everybody is talking about, well, can't really say much about that at all at this stage. Sorry about that.
Let's not dwell on the fact that this car hasn't got a manual box. They're not building those till October, so let's just forget that for a second. Let's assess everything else that's going on. But like I said, this engine is the absolute heart and soul of this car more than ever. This rigid valve train has changed the character of the engine. The noise is so aggressive. It's proper race car spec noise. And it's race car spec response as well. It's now 4 litres, but it's back to revving to 9,000. But it's also the torque, the mid-range torque. They've worked so hard on the tolerances in the engine, reducing friction, and the result is just this amazing mid-range response. And that just, it brings the car to life even more because it feels so fast so often, and it also gives you even finer control over the chassis. I mean, this engine, I miss the Nsx, everyone misses the Nsx, but this thing, I mean, talk about coming of age. It's a step on from the 4 litre in the RS or the R. And the quality of what they've done with the motor is matched with the chassis. What is blowing me away? The performance has really grip levels are up, it turns in better than before. It turns in almost like an RS, not quite, but what it does have is a sort of tolerance that the RS didn't. The RS is fun, but it's tricky. This thing, I mean, any corner, any gear, unbelievable. So we've had this massive increase in performance and entertainment and anger and just, I mean, it's almost scary, this car. It's so sharp. But as you'd expect, all the things that Porsche is so good at just give you confidence. So the brakes are still fantastic. They're so good at brakes, Porsche. It sounds like a little thing, but the feel and the resilience gives you such confidence to bring the car out. Fantastic brakes. PDK. I know we wanted to talk about the manual box, but you'd have to have a hard heart to complain about this drivetrain. It is staggering, and the PDK is even quicker, even sharper. This car is just, it manages to be clinical in its speed and its precision, but also absolutely hilarious in how indulgent it is.
I think it's fair to say that I enjoyed driving the GT3 on the track, and even when setting a lap time, that minute adjustability is a real help. Against the clock you do start to feel slightly more persistent understeer, but you can chase it away with practice and it hardly seems to dent the dizzying pace. It sets a 134.96 around the international circuit. Now we haven't got a vast bank of lap times here just yet, but that is searingly quick. For example, nearly 4 seconds faster than the Honda Nsx on its standard road bias tyres. This car has been a superstar at Anglesey.
It's the combination of just absolute entertainment and just noise and ferocity. It's brilliant, unbelievable. Is this car just a 911R with a wing? Is it better than a 911R? Or is it just too concerned with going fast?